Hey, it's Mitch, Native Survival. Today we're going to get our squirrel hide one step closer to being finished. We're going to break it in today.
Alright, so here's my hide. You can see, kept all the fur on. Okay, so I no longer need the rack. And up to this point, basically what I did was I racked the hide when it was green and fresh. Then I worked on scraping it. I scraped it for a couple sessions just to get the meat and the fat off of it, to expose as much of the white skin as possible. And the rack was holding it for me while I was scraping it, and it was also stopping it from shrinking as it dried. So it's completely dry now, and the next step is to break the hide in. So I need to work the fibers, work the grain of the skin. I'll show you how to do that right now. Alright, so this is what we got. You can see it's mostly white. Scraped off pretty much all the fat, all the meat, all of that. Now, the hide kind of has a hard texture to it. So what I want to do is slowly get it used to bending, and I want to break down and agitate the grain so it becomes loose and pliable. Okay, so I have a couple holes that I need to be careful of. This is one of them right here from the pellet. Okay, so what I'm going to do is slowly get this hide used to bending. So I'm going to just roll it lightly. It helps to use your finger to create a bending point, like a focal point, to get used to bending at first on stiff areas. Side is already starting to bend pretty nice. Once it starts to bend for you, you can use more aggressive and faster techniques. Stop breaking it down. You can see all the creases I'm putting into it, slowly breaking down the fibers. I'm slowly changing where I'm bending on the hide. So right now I'm bending right here. And as I roll it, I keep moving across, moving across. Eventually I'm bending over here. So I go all the way across the hide. And I'm really just bending right here, right in between my hands. Still a lot of work in this hide. Another good technique is flipping it upside down. This whole time I've been basically folding it in this way. Now I'm going to fold it the opposite way. I'm going to squeeze it nice and tight. slowly roll it. I'm holding it really tight as I roll it. I get to areas that fight me a little bit more, where the hide feels a little thicker, a little rougher, doesn't really want to roll. Just roll right over those. And it ends up really breaking down good. Like right over here, this is where I just went. It's nice and thin. Right over here, it's thicker. It doesn't really want to see when I bend it. Over here, it's nice and thin. Over here, it's thick. So now I'm going to squeeze that and roll it right onto itself. And slowly go around the hide as I do it. Go towards the edge. Now the area needs to be worked right there. And I just work my way across the hide as I do it. You can see a big difference though, or you can feel a big difference when you roll it like that. It just totally loses its... See how over here it doesn't really want to bend easily? I have to kind of force it to bend like that. When you do that reverse roll, it just totally makes it pliable. So there's all different ways to do it, you know. So now that I've done this, so now what I would do is go perpendicular. So now I'm going to bend it. See how it doesn't want to bend? It creases. Now I'm going to want to bend it the other way. Go perpendicular to the grain like I just was. But there are techniques to do it that make it easier. You know, you can tell that I just went right across here. It's whiter, it's thinner, it's stretched out a little bit, you know. So now I'm going to just move up a little bit and go all the way across there. So I can't just go down the whole length just yet, keep rolling it all the way, because I keep running into all these problems where it's thicker or it's not ready to do that. I might be able to do it in one spot, but eventually I'm going to run to an area over here it's too thick, it's not broken down enough. So you go across like this, and now I'll just move up a tiny bit and force it to bend. And I'll just work the area I'm in, and then I'll move sideways a little bit, and I'll just go just across the hide doing that. So I'm going to start here, and I'm going to stay in this location and just go all the way across both ways. Then I'll link it up with the area that I already did right next to it. So then my area that I rolled is actually 2 times wider. I need to do that down the whole hide. On this plane of axis and this plane of axis. See how a nice bend right there, you know? And see, it doesn't want to bend at all in the areas I haven't done, but the areas I have, it does. So then once you do that, then you flip it over and you do it again, because what that's doing is instead of bending it this way, now I'm going to be bending it this way. So then I'm going to roll it like this. So I'm working the hide. There's that crease I just put in right there, very obvious to see. I'm working the hide on one side in both directions, then I flip it over and I work the hide again in both directions, and one forces to bend this way, the other one forces to bend this way. And if you get both planes in both sides, then you're good to go, you're done. Well, this has been a good session so far. I have the whole hide started, and I have from here on started to a rough degree. Still see a lot of creases, but from this point on you can see a stark line right here. About 30% of the hide is done to a very fine degree, and that's this area over here. It's very pliable over here. I mean, it's like leather, right? So it's been a good little session. on its way.
Well, this has been Mitch Native Survival. Thanks for joining me today. See you in the next video. Take care.